Hello friends, welcome to Systematic Physics. Here we will be guiding you for content of physics for boards, NEET and JEE. Before going for this, you have to understand what is exactly measurement. Measurement is basically comparing the given physical quantity with the standard units. For example, suppose if I say my weight is 100 kg. That means I am 100 times heavier than a standard weight of 1 kg. If I say my height is 6 feet, it means I am 6 times taller than the standard height of 1 feet. In a similar fashion, whenever you actually measure, you compare the given physical quantity with the standard units. Now to understand that, you have to understand what is fundamental physical quantity. The physical quantities which do not depend on any other physical quantities for their measurements are known as fundamental physical quantities. For example, you and your parents. Your parents are independent to take a decision. They don't have to ask you, but you can't do that. So, parents are the fundamental and you are derived from them. In the similar fashion, like if you see fundamental physical quantities, they do not depend on any other physical quantities for their measurement. And units of these fundamental physical quantities are called as fundamental units. You can see there is a table which is given to you on the right hand side. Fundamental quantities, SI units and symbols. The fundamental physical quantities are length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity, which is intensity of light, and the last one is amount of substance. You know the length has a unit of meter and its symbol is m. The unit of mass is kilogram and its symbol is kg. The time has a unit of second and the symbol is small s. Temperature is Kelvin, unit is capital K. Electric current is ampere and the symbol is capital A. Luminous intensity is candela and the symbol is CD. Amount of substance is mole and symbol is MOL. Apart from this, there are two more fundamental physical quantities. Those are called as supplementary fundamental physical quantities, and those are angle and the solid angle. I shall discuss them in detail in the later part of the video. Now the way we have numbers 0 to 9 and from them we form whatever number we want, in the similar fashion, with the help of these 7 fundamental physical quantities, we can form any other physical quantity, and those physical quantities are called as derived physical quantities. So derived physical quantities are those which depend on fundamental physical quantities for their measurement, and their units are called as derived units. In physics, we come across a large number of quantities like speed, momentum, resistance, conductivity, etc., which depend on some or all of the 7 fundamental physical quantities and can be expressed in terms of these quantities. These are called derived physical quantities, and their units, which can be expressed in terms of fundamental unit, are called as derived units. For example, say what is velocity? Velocity is a unit of displacement upon unit of time, because how do you define velocity? Is a displacement upon time. Displacement is measured in meters, time is measured in second, so the unit of velocity become meter per second. Unit of momentum, what is momentum first? It is mass into velocity. So the unit of momentum is equal to unit of mass and unit of velocity. Unit of mass is kg and the unit of velocity is meter per second. So the unit of momentum becomes kg meter per second. Like that, we can form multiple physical quantities. Now, there are certain conventions for use of SI units. You know what is SI unit, right? It's a system international. There were 3 systems basically earlier, as per depending on the French colonies or the British colonies. That is FPS, CGS and MKS. You learnt about it in the school level. Now there are certain rules we need to follow, okay, though everyone has to follow the same convention so that there is no problem while expressing or writing this SI units. The first, the unit of every physical quantity should be represented by its symbol. Like you have kg for kilogram, you have m for meter, likewise. The full name of unit always starts with a smaller letter, even if the name is after a person. For example, if you want to write a full name of a unit Newton, then it should be in small letters. You can see this, like 1 joule, 1 Newton, but symbols of unit named after a person should be in capital letters. If you want to write the short form of the same units, then it should be written in what? Capital letters, for like N for Newton, J for joule, etc. Symbols for units do not take plural form. For example, force of 20 Newton, and it should not be written as 20 Newtons. It should be 20 N. If 1 is Newton, 20 is also Newton only. So it should not take a plural form. Fourth, symbols for units do not contain any full stop at the end of the recommended letter. For example, 25 kg and not 25 kg dot. That dot should not be written. Fifth, the unit of physical quantities in numerator and denominator should be written as the ratio. For example, the SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square or meter into second raised to minus 2, but not as meter per second. I hope you got it. You need to combine those 2 seconds and write it as second square, and then you can take it up, no problem, but you should not write as a ratio. Use of combination of units and symbol for units is avoided when physical quantity is expressed by combination of 2. Example, the unit joule per kg Kelvin is correct, while joule per kg Kelvin is not correct. Understand what it is. See, in the numerator I am using the symbol of the unit, that is J. So in the denominator also I should write it as symbol only, that is kg and k. If in the numerator I write joule, that is incorrect, because in the numerator you are writing the full name of the unit, and in the denominator you are writing it as in the form of symbols, which is incorrect. 7. A prefix symbol is used before the symbol of the unit. Thus, prefix symbol and units symbol constitute a new symbol for the unit which can be raised to the positive or negative power of 10. For example, 1 ms is equal to 1 millisecond. It should be written as 10 raised to minus 3 second. So the prefix symbol, which was ms, that m is replaced by 10 raised to minus 3, which was milli. Now 1 microsecond is 1 mu, that mu is actually 10 raised to minus 6. So we can replace that mu by 10 raised to power, that is 10 raised to minus 6. Use of double prefixes is avoided when single prefix is available. Like 10 raised to minus 6 seconds is 1 microsecond and not as 1 milliseconds. 10 raised to minus 9 second is 1 nanosecond and it is not as 1 millimicroseconds. You cannot use 2 symbol prefixes, okay, when you writing the unit. 8. The space or hyphen must be introduced while indicating the multiplication of the 2 units. For example, meter per second should be written as m s raised to minus 1 or meter dash s raised to minus 1, but not as ms raised to minus 1, because ms will be read as what? Millisecond. So there has to be a space between m and s. Now understand what are dimensions basically. When I say dimensions of the room, that means its length, breadth and height, I understand. Suppose when I say dimensions of your personality, that means how bold, how good, how nice you are. But when you talk about dimensions of physical quantity, what are they actually? So dimensions of physical quantities are the powers to which the concerned fundamental unit must be raised in order to obtain the unit of a given physical quantity. That means when we represent any derived physical quantity with appropriate powers of symbols of the fundamental physical quantities, then such an expression is called as dimensional formula. This dimensional formula is expressed by square bracket and no comma is written in between any of the symbols. Illustration. Let us obtain dimensional formula for velocity. Dimensional formula to obtain, first you need to know the definition. Velocity is equal to displacement upon time. Now, displacement, the unit of displacement is meter, unit of time is seconds. So, dimension of velocity is square bracket L upon square bracket capital T. So, that goes up. So, L raised to 1, m raised to 0 and t raised to minus 1. That means to express velocity, I used the unit of length once. I did not use any unit of mass, but I used unit of time once, and that too in the denominator. So, minus 1 is appearing. I hope you understood this. Now, dimensional formula for velocity gradient. Gradient means something changes with distance is called as what? Gradient. Now, velocity gradient is velocity upon distance. Now, you know the dimensional formula for velocity. L raised to 1, m raised to 0, t raised to minus 1, and distance is L raised to 1. So, when I write that L raised to 1, L raised to 1 gets cancelled. So, I get the dimensional formula for velocity gradient as L raised to 0, m raised to 0, t raised to minus 1. What is dimensional formula for charge? Charge is equal to current into time. Current is I, time is t. So, the dimensional formula for a charge is L raised to 0, m raised to 0, t raised to 1 and I raised to 1. Now, likewise, I have given you many physical quantities to find out their dimensions. Let us see each of them in detail. Displacement. What is the symbol of displacement? S, I'll write it as. Its formula, nothing, because distance is the actual path traveled by the particle between the 2 points. SI unit is meter. So, to express displacement, I have used meter only once. So, the dimensional formula for displacement is m raised to 0, L raised to 1, t raised to 0. You can write in any order, doesn't matter. Area. Now, area, the symbol for the area is capital A. Now, length into breadth is the formula for area. Length is measured in meter, breadth is measured in meter. So, the product of that is meter square. So, to express area, I have used the meter 2 times, meter into meter. So, the dimensional formula for area is m raised to 0, L raised to 2 and t raised to 0. Now, volume, when I talk about, it is length into breadth into height. Now, length is measured in meter, breadth is measured in meter, and h is, that is height, which is measured in meter. So, the product becomes m cube. So, it becomes m raised to 0, L raised to 3 and t raised to 0. The next physical quantity which I have taken into consideration is velocity v. The unit for that is small v. Don't get confused. Okay, volume is capital V and velocity is small v. Now, what I know formula for velocity as? Displacement upon time. Displacement is measured in meter and time is measured in second. So, the dimensional formula for the velocity is m0, L1 and t raised to minus 1. What is dimensional formula for momentum? Momentum, the symbol for the same is P. Now, P is equal to mass into velocity. Mass is measured in kg, velocity is measured in meter per second. So, the dimensional formula for the momentum is m1 L1 t raised to minus 1. That means to express momentum, I have used mass once, length once and time once, but in the denominator, so it is minus 1. The next physical quantity which I considered is acceleration. A. Acceleration, you know the definition of acceleration, that is change in velocity per unit time. Now velocity, you know already, meter per second, so it becomes meter per second square. Come on, tell me the dimension of this. That becomes m0 L1 t raised to minus 2. To express acceleration, I have not used the unit of mass at all. So it is m raised to 0. Length I have used once and time I have used 2 times, but in the denominator, so it is minus 2. The next physical quantity which I have considered is capital F. F is equal to m into A. Now the unit for this is Newton. Now mass is measured in kg. Acceleration you already seen there in meter per second square. So it becomes m raised to 1, L raised to 1 and t raised to minus 2. In the dimension of A, my m was 0. Now in dimension of force, the m comes into the picture, so it becomes m raised to 1. Impulse. Impulse you can denote by J. J is equal to F into T. That is Newton into second. So whatever force dimension you have got, multiply that by t raised to 1. Now t raised to minus 2 into t raised to 1 becomes t raised to minus 1. So the dimensions for the impulse are m1 L1 t raised to minus 1. Now let us find dimensions of work. Work is equal to force into displacement. So whatever force ka dimension you have got, multiply that by length. So the dimension for work is m1 L2 t raised to minus 2. Energy, that is either kinetic energy or potential energy. Kinetic energy is half mv square and potential energy is mgh. So unit for mass is kg and velocity is meter per second square. So the unit of ke will become m raised to 1 L raised to 2 t raised to minus 2. Power is work done per unit time. So work done dimensions are known to you, that is m1 L2 t raised to minus 2 upon t. So that becomes m raised to 1 L raised to 2 t raised to minus 3. Density D is mass per unit volume, that is kg per meter cube. Obviously the dimensions would be m raised to 1 L raised to minus 3 t raised to 0. Pressure, what is the formula for pressure? That is force acting per unit area. The unit for that is Pascal. Now F dimensions are known to you. What are the dimensions of F? m1 L1 t raised to minus 2 upon area. Area dimensions are L raised to 2. So those L raised to 2 from the denominator, when they go up, it becomes m raised to 1 L raised to minus 1 t raised to minus 2. Torque, tau, is equal to R into F. So whatever are the dimensions of force, multiply that by the radius, so or the distance, that becomes m1 L2 t raised to minus 2. Angular displacement theta, it's arc upon radius, so that is radians. Now arc has a unit of meter and radius also has a unit of meter, so those two units gets cancelled and I get angular displacement as m0 L0 t raised to 0. Now angular velocity omega, that is angle turned per unit time, so that is radians per second. Radians has no dimensions, so the dimensions formula for angular velocity is m0 L0 t raised to minus 1. Angular acceleration, it is change in angular velocity per unit time, so that is radians per second square, that is m0 L0 t raised to minus 2. Moment of inertia I, that is mass into square of a distance. So mass is measured in kg and distance is measured in what? Meter. So that becomes m1 L2 t raised to 0. Angular momentum L, L is equal to mv into r. Now mass has a unit kg, v has a unit of meter per second and the radius has a unit of what? Meter. So that becomes kg meter square per second. So the dimension would be m raised to 1 L raised to 2 t raised to minus 1. Frequency F, frequency is always reciprocal of time. So the dimensions for that is m0 L0 t raised to minus 1. Stress, stress is equal to what? Force upon area. Force is Newton, area is meter square, put force ka dimension in the numerator and area in the denominator. So I get it as m1 L raised to minus 1 T raised to minus 2. From here you can understand that stress and the pressure, both of them have the same dimension. Strain is either it is longitudinal strain or it is volumetric strain or shear strain. None of the strains have any dimensions. So the dimensions for a strain are m0, L0, T0. Young's modulus. All the moduli, they have a dimension same as that of the pressure, that is m1 L raised to minus 1 T raised to minus 2. Surface tension. Surface tension is T, that is force acting per unit length in a liquid. So that becomes force ka dimension upon dimensions of length, that is m1 L0 T raised to minus 2. Temperature is theta. The unit of temperature is Kelvin. So m0 L0 T0 theta raised to 1. Heat. See, any physical quantity which are interconvertible, they will have a same dimension. That is kinetic energy, potential energy and heat. They can be interconvertible. So the dimension for the heat are m1 L2 T raised to minus 2. Specific heat. Specific heat is like the amount of heat per unit mass per degree rise in temperature. So the unit for that is joule per kg Kelvin. So the dimensions would be m0 L2 T raised to minus 2 theta raised to minus 1. Latent heat. Q is equal to ml. So L is equal to what? Q upon m. So whatever dimensions of energy upon dimensions of mass. So that becomes m0 L2 T raised to minus 2. Charge is coulomb. We have defined and we have done this thing in the previous thing if you remember. Current. Even this dimension we have seen. Universal gas constant. You just go through it, remember it. It shall be discussed in detail whenever we talk about the heat section. R is equal to PV upon NT. So joule per mole Kelvin. So it is m1 L2 T raised to minus 2 and theta raised to minus 1. This is all for the dimensions which you need to know as far as your 11th standard concerned. We have tried giving you the subject knowledge in very systematic manner. Please like and share the video with your friends and subscribe to stay connected with systematic physics. Thank you.